Today we're going to be exploring games similar to Diablo. These are the best action RPG games, not only available now, but also coming out in the future as well. Now the order is in no specific list of preference, they're just listed in here. Now first of all, if you are a big fan of Diablo 3 and are looking for something similar, I recommend checking out the previous titles as well, like D2 and even D1. Now let's start off with one of the most obvious games out of all, and that's Path of Exile. This free-to-play action RPG is truly a hardcore experience when it comes to these types of games. Now Path of Exile has been continuously updated with expansions, new classes, and the endless lists of game modes, of races, and a non-intrusive monetization system. Path of Exile is the go-to choice if you like Diablo-style games. Torchlight. Okay, the Torchlight franchise is a little bit cartoony when it comes to the art style, but does have a cult following. Now, despite the very cute graphics, which some people will tend to cling to, the gameplay is undeniably extremely fun. Unfortunately, the developers have mentioned that there won't be a Torchlight 3 anytime soon in the future. This is the type of Diablo-style game that you would let your kids play and not worry about the violence. Lord of the Rings Game Boy Advance. Now, I threw this in as a curveball. I haven't played this game since I was a kid, but without a doubt, Lord of the Rings 2 in particular on the Game Boy Advance has to be one of the most enjoyable action RPG experiences if you can kind of handle the whole thing being like 20 years old now, or however old it actually is. Nonetheless, Lord of the Rings will give you a good hour or two of fun, and you don't necessarily have to own the console, if you know what I mean. You can just kind of get it in other ways. DEVILLIAN. Now, my initial response about DEVILLIAN is that the game's quite mundane, although at the same time it does have a large player base and is extremely similar in map design to Diablo 3. Now, not my personal favorite on this list, but apparently this game has gone through quite a lot of changes and has gotten very good reviews. DEVILLIAN, check this one out if you want. Now, Victor VRAN is very similar to Diablo 3, but it has its own unique quirkiness. The skills attached to the weapons themselves, rather than altering your character dramatically, Victor VRAN does have some new elements. One thing that this game does have going for it is the jump mechanic. You can also jump off walls as well. Now, they've introduced the map layout to cater towards this extra mechanic. Now, the alternative controls really makes Victor VRAN stand out with the camera rotation, the jump feature, the WASD. Although the graphics aren't quite as polished as, say, Path of Exile or Diablo 3, or even Torchlight for that matter, the game still can be enjoyed. I recommend checking it out at least. The Van Helsing franchise. Now, Van Helsing has quite a few games in its franchise now, including a spin-off. This particular title was a little bit unbalanced when the game first launched, but throughout your experience in the game, you will actually enjoy it. This is one of those highly polished, very well put together action RPGs that is very unique, revolving around the Van Helsing universe. If you're interested in a Diablo game that's very high quality, I recommend any of the Van Helsing action RPG games. Let's talk about the spin-off though, DEATHTRAP. Now, DEATHTRAP is a tower defense game that introduces hack and slash elements built from the Van Helsing engine. So what entails is, basically, like every tower defense game, you can drop traps to kill enemies. Not only that, you can actually actively move your character around, pick up loot, and attack the enemies coming in as well. So think of it as like a Diablo meets, I don't know, every tower defense game that ever came out, but with loot and stuff. It's fun. The Borderlands franchise. Now, this is the most furthest away from Diablo in my opinion. The reason being is that although it does have the same mechanics of picking up loot, grinding, leveling, and all that good stuff that we expect, it's a shooter, so there is a bit of a conflict of interest there. Without a doubt, Borderlands has one of the biggest hardcore fan bases from Diablo players as well. So if you don't mind the odd shooter game with a little bit of Diablo thrown into it, with a lot I should say, then check out the Borderlands franchise. With each successful game, it gets better and better. Marvel Heroes 2016. Now, this game was originally led by David Brevik, one of the original designers from Diablo 2, so you know there's going to be some good stuff in there. Based around the Marvel Universe, the game has gone through quite a lot of rebranding as well, hence the name Marvel Heroes 2016. Now, based on my experience, the game actually does hold itself up, although I'm not a massive fan of the Marvel Universe. In fact, I have no interest in that particular area at all. If you even slightly can handle it, or maybe you absolutely love the Marvel Universe, check this game out. It offers pretty much any character that you can think of. Not only that, they've got a massive amount of skins that you can find in the game or purchase with real money. Once again, Marvel Heroes, a fantastic MMO experience, but at the same time doesn't have an intrusive monetization system like some action RPGs do. Marvel Heroes is a great pickup, check it out. Titan Quest 1, 2, and the expansion. Now, Titan Quest has a very special place for me because Titan Quest 2 was one of the very first action RPGs that I played after Diablo 2. What drew me to Titan Quest would definitely have to be the graphics at that time. Using physics, it really was the first 3D experience when it came to Diablo-like games. Titan Quest 2, although slightly imbalanced and a little bit buggy, has so much depth and, in my opinion, the best action RPG storyline available to date. Titan Quest 2 is a must-have. If you've never played this game before, it's time to pick it up and play it. It's a little bit old, but my goodness, it is a lot of fun. Grim Dawn, released very recently. This game was actually built off the previous title mentioned, the Titan Quest 2 engine. But keep in mind, Grim Dawn is definitely not piggybacking off the previous title. This is a completely new experience, most notably with a very fun skill tree. Based on my experience playing Grim Dawn is that you can pretty much go any avenue and still have a viable, fun build. Now, they've also added an extra customization system called the Devotion system that adds a lot more customization to the previous version of the game, so if you did play it years ago, check it out again. It has gone through a lot. Last thing about Grim Dawn is that the atmosphere holds a very dark and rich feeling to it. It is really murky and gritty. Now, two up-and-coming Diablo games that I know a lot of you guys might actually be familiar with. Lost Ark. Now, this game is being developed by Smilegate, boasts impressive graphics, although some people are a little bit concerned about the game feeling too much like a cutscene. Now, despite all of this, there's absolutely awesome visuals, make this game look very, very impressive. Now, Lost Ark is boasting to be an MMO with a huge open world experience, raids like you would see in World of Warcraft that require multiple players to be able to take them on, and just overall, this game looks bloody awesome. Check this one out. Lineage Eternal. Now, this game is promising to come into open worldwide beta in 2016, although they've broken the last two promises of releasing the beta earlier. Let's hope that they get it right on the third time. Now, a lot of people absolutely love the Lineage franchise, but Lineage Eternal, by the looks of it, is going to be the true successor. Just like Lost Ark, the graphics truly are a step up when it comes to action RPGs. Featuring slightly different mechanics, this game is going to be a definite standout. I look forward to playing this one. Hope you guys too. Anyway, friends, this is a pretty comprehensive list of games similar to Diablo, the best action RPG games. I highly recommend that you check the comments below because a lot of people will jump in and probably recommend games that didn't make it to my particular list for whatever reason. Thanks for joining me as always. Subscribe. Catch you next time.